A young boy is sat in front of the TV and he sees high status men in movies and on the news with supercars, mansions, and attractive women and watches. And inspired by all of this, he strives for wealth and success throughout of his life. He puts in hard work and dedication through his teens, his 20s, and even throughout his 30s. And he makes as much money as he can, and he's very well off. But in his late 30s, he realizes that he's depressed, and he hates his wife and his mansion, and he constantly feels empty and unfulfilled, and like his masculine drive is missing. This is because he was pursuing desires and goals that were instilled in him from a young age that were not his own. His purpose was not to make lots of money. His purpose was to start a company. And instead, he worked his way up through an existing company and, rose through the ranks, worked his way up. Now he's got a cushy desk job where he can work from home, but the company he was meant to make could have saved the world. But we'll never see that, because when he was younger, all these high value men were brainwashing him into seeing and thinking that all these expensive things were the only way to live and the way that all men should live. I believe this is one of the biggest modern issues, and it's not just him at all, but influencers like Andrew Tate promote extreme wealth, fast cars and really expensive suits and watches and dinners for all men. But this is not most men's true purpose, which is causing them to follow a dream and desires that are not theirs and will not give them that satisfying, fulfilling feeling when they finally achieve it. They will just achieve it and, they'll literally just achieve it and go, oh, cool. Now what? That will be their reaction. Because it's not something that they wanted. They thought they wanted it, but they didn't. Men need to have their own individual purpose and independent of external influence. We need to break free from societal expectations and find genuine fulfillment within our lives. But it's not cool to choose to not make a shit ton of money. It's not cool to follow your own goals, and it's like the story of the businessman and the fisherman. I'll tell it to you now. This businessman was walking down a beach and he sees a fisherman in a small little boat, and he's carrying a few really fat tuna. And the businessman says, "How long did it take you to catch them?" And the fisherman replies, "A few hours." And the businessman says, "Well, why didn't you stay out and catch a few more? What are you going to do for the rest of the day?" And the fisherman says, "Because this is enough to feed my family for today. And I'm going to go back home because I wake up early, I go and fish, and I spend time with my children. I spend time with my wife, play with the kids, and I go out for drinks with my friends down in the town later at night." And the businessman says, "Well, if you stayed out on your boat for a few more hours, you could buy a bigger boat. And then with the profits from that bigger boat, you could hire people to work from you. And the fisherman says, well, what then? And the businessman replies, well, after that you could buy a fleet of boats. And what then? The fisherman replies. And the businessman says, well, then you start selling directly to the suppliers, and you cut out the middleman, and you start your own tinning company. And then you can sell like stocks of your company. And then the fisherman says, well, how long will this take? And the businessman says, about 15 to 20 years. And the fisherman says, well, what then? And the businessman says, well, the best part is once you've started selling the stocks in your company and you've opened up the shares and the ISOs, you can make millions. And then you can move to a small coastal fishing village and relax, go fishing for fun on the beach, go home and play with your kids, spend time with your wife, and go out for drinks in the town with your friends in the evening. And the fisherman says, isn't that what I'm doing already? And that story is just shows that you don't need money to be happy. You don't need to go and, it's so mainstream nowadays to go and do all this, and you've got to get a bigger company. You've got to make this much money. But why would you want to make that much money and spend 15, 20 years of your life building a bigger company if by the end of it you're going to have the exact same result? And of course, yeah, he wouldn't be a millionaire, but he would have an extra 15, 20 years of his life with his kids, and he would have memories, and he would have been a present father and would have had a better life overall. Anyway, your entire life, your brain has been filled with other people's desires and goals, fast cars, money, attractive women, big houses. These are not desires that have been created by your own mind. In your brain, you did not come up with the thought, I want a fast car. No, someone else has told you, fast cars are really cool. And you thought, well, I want people to think I'm cool, so I should get a fast car. So yeah, that's the only reason that you've even thought about buying a fast car or, an expensive watch. It's because other people have said that they're cool and you want other people's approval. So, yeah. The emotional manipulation of big companies, eh? But yeah, the result of this is just generation of depressed men due to unfulfilled dreams and misplaced goals. It's truly sad. That is what it's come down to. I believe that there's 3 ways that I've found to uncover what you want and kind of what your purpose is. So they're all kind of useful in a different way. So let's go through them now. The first way is to define what purpose is. Like you always hear these people, I'm on my purpose, bro. I'm on my purpose. But what does that mean? I believe that purpose is the productive task that you're currently obsessed with. Like for the last year and a half, mine has been going to the gym and getting in shape. And I was completely obsessed with it, and that was literally my purpose for that period of time. But I believe that now it's shifted more towards learning and making this type of content. That one's nice, quick and easy. The second way you can find out what you truly want is, what did you used to do when you were younger? I know I gave the example of the story of the young boy who was sat in front of the TV, but most of it happens in your teenage years, actually. So, what did you do when you were 10, 11 years old? You know, you're in year 6, year 5. What did you used to do? Because for me, I used to run around and make vlogs and post them. I used to love the editing process. I used to love doing it all. So that's what I'm doing now. I thought about that, and I thought about the fact that I'm not really too focused on going to the gym as much right now. And using those two, I decided to switch this to my main purpose and to my main focus. And the last way is to find out what gets you into a flow state. And a flow state is kind of like what, you know, you've heard athletes talking about, like getting into the zone and stuff. That's kind of what a flow state is. You know, you're just completely and utterly thoughtless while you're doing the work. And for me, that's just like speaking. I just become not mindless, but like, no, there's no thoughts about like what I'm going to do later, nothing. It's just complete, like, I'll just get a random thought and it's just about this. You don't get any like invasive thoughts, nothing. Like, as much as you can meditate, you know, being able to go into a flow state is more powerful than any meditation will ever be, because it's something that your brain is so focused on that you only get thoughts about that specific thing. And yeah, for me it was talking. I've always enjoyed, like, you know, telling people about crap I find interesting and stuff. So I thought, you know, why not do it to lots of people? The internet, you know, infinite amounts of people. And yeah, those are the 3 ways that I believe that you can find your purpose, at least for the time being. Maybe it'll change, because your purpose shifts. So number 1 was defining what purpose is, the current task that you're obsessed with, current productive task. The second way was what you used to do when you were younger and what you used to enjoy before you were brainwashed. And the third one is finding out what gets you into a flow state. And hopefully, for you, those 3 can interlock like they have for me, and you can find an activity that some people would see as work, but you enjoy it and you would do it for fun. Like, if you were locked in a room, you would be thinking about this thing. Alright. That's all I've got for today. Have a good day and a great week.